And we are officially live. Today I am teamed up with my partner in crime, Alf Benny, good friend of the channel. He's of the YouTube channel Alf Benny, which I totally didn't remember to link in the description. My bad. Sorry. I
It's all right.
apologize.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, and they're actually starting the meeting right now. I have it muted because the audio was terrible. They said they were going to start in a few minutes, but it is the Super Mayor Show, and we are excited to be here. And Alf, I know you're an absolute expert on this. So,
well, I've been watching your videos on it, but I didn't know that there was going to be a meeting today, and there was like new stuff about to be revealed today.
Yeah, they're dropping the Lightfoot report, which is, I'm not a fan of Lori Lightfoot, but she's been investigating the super mayor. She apparently has all the finances. When they revealed them, which is what I based my last video on, they ended up having to fire a bunch of people, and they're like, just so you know, this is the beginning of the end. So let me cue this up.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by
they're gonna do Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm gonna mute that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so but basically she had blown so much money on nonsense that they couldn't afford to pay for certain people in the town, right? So they're laying people off in order to fill the gaps of the debt.
Oh, they're laying people off. They're like, we have to sell buildings. This is apocalyptic. And we're gonna hear it from Lori Lightfoot. This is the fun part, but then I'm gonna have to read this, but I'll do that off stream. People are like, how dare you? I unmuted the pledge, guys, if you're happy about that, but you can't even hear it, so they don't even care enough. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun thing. I'm excited for it. I haven't done stream in forever.
Are they going is the consequences of her actions going to be revealed too, or is that just something where they're going to decide a consequence later?
So this is the preliminary report, but recently they flipped her number 2 and her boyfriend, or her alleged boyfriend. So that's going to play into the federal investigation. Also, I'm going to have to the
okay, first order of business is general announcements. I'll ask the board if there are any general announcements to be made at this time.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm so excited for this.
Just want to remind you this coming Saturday, tea with the trustees in this room, 140.
I don't care about tea with the trustees. They always do this. We want the good stuff. Do you know how many people are watching this live on their end? It's 1,100 people are watching their meeting live. That's how interested people are in the super mayor story. They don't want tea with the trustees.
If you look at most of these meetings, there's 5 people watching.
Yeah. Oh, the YouTube channel has 16,000 subscribers. That's all new.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if they're. Yeah, she's still announcing shit. I don't care. But yeah, this is a great story about how terrible local government can be corrupt. And you're a Jerseyan. Are you impressed with the local corruption over here?
Yeah, I'm totally blown away by it. We couldn't even dream of this kind of corruption happening here in Jersey. They got us beat.
Now, Tiffany will not be at this meeting. She doesn't show up to the special meetings. If anybody's excited to see her, I can't wait to see that reaction. People are telling me to unmute.
Have you recognized?
She's gonna bust in the door and go, oh, hell no. Nah.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you all for coming out. As everyone knows, this information tonight, everybody has been waiting on. So good to see a lot of Dolton residents out just because they want to know what's going on with their tax dollars. Please just give Mayor Lightfoot the respect. It's a wealth of information based on what was just given to us. And once
don't say the respect she deserves, because she is still Lori Lightfoot.
Just work with us on our next steps of whatever we get. I just want just let everybody know that at this time, if anyone was at the meeting on Monday, you guys see that we are in a financial crisis. And I want you to trust your trustees that we are working for you.
She wants you to sign up to the Village of Dolton Patreon.
Thank you very much, Trustee Norwood.
Donate money for us to make up this money that this mayor destroyed our town by spending.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Look at their chat.
I would just first like to say that I'm so happy to see everyone. You all know what they say: a family that stays together A family that prays together stays together, okay? So I'd also like to just thank our residents, right?
How
To Dolton
horrible would that
residents.
be if they said
know that
Beetlejuice,
these
Beetlejuice,
last
Beetlejuice
3
right before
years
Lori Lightfoot
have
came
been
out
a
with her
little
report?
I like
difficult
the
for us,
family
right?
that prays together
We've had
stays
to make
together.
a lot of
Not helping.
tough decisions regarding the town as a board. And I thank you all for trusting us, believing in us in the process, and knowing that we have a plan. We have a plan. I think that these last 3 years have made us stronger than ever before. I just want you all to know that I love you guys, and tonight is a good night.
Tonight's
One
gonna
last
be
thing, Mayor
a
Pro
good
Tem. We
night.
definitely want to thank
Oh, they
Mayor
look pretty
Lightfoot
happy.
for taking on,
I'm so excited for
when I
this.
tell you,
Mhm. Which
it's
seems like this is going to be good
devastating
news.
task. We thank her for taking on this task.
They were
and
fighting
helping,
before the local
not
news
only
picked it up.
the
So
trustees,
I give them
but
credit for
also the
that.
residents.
Yeah, they've been
Thank you,
working
Mayor
on this for a
Lightfoot.
while. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
A few other acknowledgements. I want to make sure that we would be, partnership has been critical for the Board of Trustees and the village as well. Dolton Park District has been a tremendous partner to us, so I want to make sure we give the space and having the meeting rooms when we've been locked out of our own village hall taxpayer dollars.
Yeah,
So I wanna
they're
give a
locked out
round
of the village
applause
hall
to,
right now.
Commissioner Sandra Wells is there.
And
I saw
the park
Commissioner Gail
commissioner
Towers.
gave them the space
No, Commissioner
because
Willis Harris is pretty close,
the park
as well
commissioner,
as our president, Cleo Jones. Want to give him
like
a
the
round of
mayor
applause.
targeted the park commissioner. It's
Don't
one
know
of
if I
her
missed
earliest
Commissioner Rochelle,
enemies
if
that
he's
she made.
present.
So they're like, yeah, we'll let them have their
But
meetings
thank
here.
you so much from the bottom of my heart. This partnership means everything to the community and is part of the way that we move forward. So we have to give that acknowledgement. Further
Oh, I got a
acknowledgement
new
to the
member.
hard-fighting Dolton firefighters who come and who show out
Thank you, Zombie
every day
Outbreak.
for us through.
Yeah, this is like their victory lap right here.
Well, I know the community
Oh,
loves you.
damn,
and
yeah,
we
there's a lot of people here.
that you're doing, and we are working hard to get you guys made whole and made correct.
This is a town of
I will have a
20,000
few
people,
other
and it's a
comments
packed
about
house.
Yeah, this place is
to
packed.
preface the report.
There might have been more people who
some of
showed
the
up. They
things
just
we
couldn't
did
fit
make sure that
inside, so
it
they
was
had
an
to like not
independent
let
report.
them
So
in.
the board was kind of given some kind of snippets ahead of time, but we wanted to also maintain the integrity of independence. So there are some things we'll be seeing for the first time, some things we've had kind of a heads up to, but it's given us some direction. So I'll preface some more comments. At Monday's board meeting, there were also some actions voted on by the Board of Trustees that have left confusion or ambiguity because the board has voted to begin some
lower
layoffs
this for a second
for
because he's
budgetary
recapping
reasons,
their
and all
thing.
of those have not
But this is
implemented
the
at
guy
this
that's
time.
like trying
So
to
they're in
assume the
various
role
phases.
of
So
the
we are
mayor, if you
working
guys
with
don't know.
our attorneys.
And he actually
So I asked
originally
Attorney
endorsed
McGrath to kind of
tenured
also
because
give
they
an
used
update
to
to the
fight
community
against
on
the
what's
lack
going
of
on there.
transparency in the previous administration. So she used to be on this side of the table.
Yeah.
I thank you.
And then he helped her
Couple
get on
updates, since
just to
the,
have her do
meeting
the
on
same
Monday night,
shit.
which a lot of items were brought
pretty
out,
funny.
Yeah.
specifically the village's finances and why we're here tonight to go into more detail. But the board has decided to implement a hiring freeze. It was not able to be put on this agenda
Thank
in
Zombie
time.
Outbreak for the
They want to know
$20.
that, let the residents know that there's going to be a hiring freeze, that the village is just not able to hire any
He's
more
like the one finance
employees
guy.
that,
I mean,
in any department. There
Is
were
Maybe.
the
some
super
layoffs,
mayor
and
in the
there's
chat?
most
Like
likely
somebody's
gonna be
trying to
more
catch her
layoffs,
out in the chat.
unfortunately, in the future.
that would be
You know,
amazing.
you're
if the
watching the
mayor-
live
There's
stream.
also been a
She
number
got a
of
socket account.
instances of
A
harassment in
socket
the
account.
workplace,
Chat.
threats to employees and elected officials. I have advised all staff and employees to document those incidents.
So
And we are
yeah, I
moving
got it.
forward
Yeah.
to
So
increase
there's
the County
been
Sheriff's Police
people
Department who,
that show up to
by
the meetings that
ordinance,
support the
is the
super
Inspector
mayor,
General
and like
of the
other
village of
YouTubers
Dolton.
will look into their
And they will
backgrounds,
have the
and they're like
stronger arms to
criminals
take action
and like
with
related
regards
to the
to
mayor's
workplace
like
harassment,
hires of her friends. It's
retaliation,
usually pretty wild. So that could be the mayor
political
or
work
one of
happening
these
in the
people that's in
workplace,
their chat.
those kind of things. The ordinance, you can get a copy of it. It was passed about 10 years ago, but the clerk can get a copy and post it. And I think it'd be a good idea to let everyone know what the sheriff is authorized to look into, and it's a lot of it.
Third
Well,
party.
once again, based on the board's directive, different individuals aren't following the board's directive. There was a deputy chief that was placed on
Pin
administrative
King is
leave.
true. These
He
third-party
disregarded it and
investigations
showed up
tend
the
to
very
find
next day.
everything, but she's
He
under
then received a
investigation by the
notice that he was
state,
terminated,
Lightfoot, and by the
uh,
feds.
and he,
Yeah, she had
He-
trouble on multiple levels.
True, Spencer Harmon is right. Don't forget to like the stream. This is like the most energized crowd ever. Standing
Yeah,
ovations.
despite being notified that he was terminated and in discussions with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, he again
AJW for
showed up
president of
today.
Dalton. I am
Once
never,
again, the mayor has changed the
never going
locks
to
at the Village
Dalton
Hall.
unless there's a
Y'all-
trial and you guys
y'all-
fund it.
Everyone recall how orderly and how nice it was to walk into the village board meeting on Monday night when the Madam Clerk and the trustees had key fobs to get into the village. Once again, this is about the third time that she has changed the lock, so the elected officials do not have access and cannot get into.
I mean, how petty
um,
are you that
the
you're
Village
changing
Hall,
the locks
which
on the
belongs to
elected
the people. I
officials
got a
to the
call from an attorney
legislative
this
hall?
afternoon who
3
unfortunately says,
times.
I have a couple lawsuits that I have to file against the village. It's been pending in court and I can't serve the village because I can't get to the clerk because the doors to the village hall are locked.
That's
So,
crazy. That's
kind of an
it's
amazing
causing some real
strategy.
issues, and several judges are,
Well, we just
are
locked
aware
the
of
door.
what's going on. But
Y'all
the
can't
locks have
persecute
changed.
me if I lock the door.
Emails were shut off.
Come back
and,
later.
I had heard that
We ain't open.
I'm getting my
Mr.
herd
Lacy
did. Come
and
back
others
later.
have brought in their own IT person in an effort to gain access to their emails that were shut down. I don't know the status of that.
We
but
all
there's a
know
lot
these
of stuff that
Democrats with their
happens
emails.
really, really quick.
She
Things
about
happen
to
every
run
day.
people.
You just cannot
Somebody
believe what's
said it
going
like
on
that.
with this administration.
Imagine.
But we're doing
She
our
takes
best.
off tomorrow.
These board members
Exactly.
are doing their best.
The
Ms.
Village of
Lightfoot has a
Dalton
very good
is a
presentation for
part-time
everyone,
gig, so
and I'm sure there'll be a lot of
thank you,
questions
Zombie
after,
Outbreak,
but,
for gifting
I
10
think
memberships.
we
I
move on
appreciate
to
that.
Sweet. And I will take them all.
Take a ball.
Okay, thank you for that update, Attorney McGrath. So that, having said that, we're going to move to the next item on the agenda. We have a few, I think I would say quicker points that we need to vote
They're
through.
just
and then we'll
stalling.
go
They're
right
like
into
building up the
presentations.
stream
I don't think
audience.
that should
The
take
disrespect.
extremely long.
If I would
I
have
think
started
we've,
10 minutes early
all
just
had
to
the
hype you
opportunity to
up, you
vet
guys would
these
not have fallen
items.
for
So
that. But look
I'll
at
turn
this
over to
guy.
Village Clerk
House,
Allison
come on.
Key.
Again, most of you guys know that my minutes are never put on the agenda for the regular board meeting, so I have to get them approved here. So I'll quickly go through the meeting, the minutes, dates, and ask for the board's approval. So I'm asking for approval for minutes for May 6th, May 13th, June 3rd, and July 1st.
I like
I'm
the
asking that the
I like
board would
Tiffany
approve the
Henyard's
4-minute,
pettiness that
dates
she won't
for
even let
minutes.
this lady's minutes be on the agenda. It's like the most basic rudimentary thing.
Okay, Trustee Norwood,
She's like not
Trustee
having
Tammy
it.
Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have nothing under old business. For new business, we put on here, we are still in, this is still a work in progress, but it will be one of the things we are working towards to move the village forward.
Somebody in the
as,
chat said,
one
I'm
of our
voting
solutions.
Republican when I
We
get
are
out of
going to
jail.
be reassigning the board committees. So
Imagine
that we
this
can
guy becomes the
reinstitute
mayor and he
Finance
steals
Committee,
more
Police
than
and
And then
Fire,
he
Personnel
doesn't.
Committee,
Oh my
Housing
God.
Committee.
And
So
the
that
lady
will
next
be
to him has to
forthcoming on an
catch him.
upcoming agenda. We're still
Maybe like the
kind of
throne in
identifying.
Dalton is
I
just
think
like
we have the chairs
it's like
identified,
makes
but we
you a
want to make sure that
tyrant.
we round it out
Yeah.
with good
It's just a
talent.
rotating door.
That will be coming on an upcoming agenda. Item B, we put out an RFP for review for bids on a new towing company or new towing contract. Want to
Is there another
highlight that we
person?
did
Tiff
it in an
probably be on her
RFP
way out of
format, so
town.
that way we can make sure we get the best
Board should just
the
change
best
the
bang
locks.
for our buck. We made sure that our current, there are two
We
current
can't
tow
even serve her
companies
'cause she
that
changed the
received
locks.
notification as well as the
Yeah.
notification being placed in the
Somebody
public
called him
newspaper, the
Mayor
Chicago
Jesse
Tribune.
Jackass over
And
here.
at this moment, is my understanding, we have received
That's
one
pretty
bid
funny.
That's
in
pretty good.
for that contract, so we will ask, I will be asking for a motion to approve that bid. I don't know, did you have anything else?
Oh, I mean,
Okay, the towing contract is with ENR Tow. So I'm gonna ask, I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from ENR Tow Company.
look at that,
To
a
move
bid
forward with,
contract in public
bid
instead of the
contract,
no
and
bid
I'll ask for a
contracts
second.
Tiffany was handing out.
Okay, here a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, Trustee Belcher?
They're killing me with this. Bring on Beetlejuice. So everybody say Beetlejuice 3 times in the chat so she could actually show up.
You just stated there are two companies right now that are
We
doing
started
the
up here.
tow.
Oh, she's getting that
Renault
reverb
in
in her mic.
2021, when we first got in, we approved one. Speaking to that company, they stated, and I'm waiting on a copy of the contract, that their contract is to
Hey, got
2026.
everybody ready.
So moving forward, even with vote on this new one, will they still be towing
That'll
for the
get Lori
village
Lightfoot to-
because we have a current
That's
contract?
not how you
So
spell
this
it.
proposal would be for them,
Battle
for there
juice.
to be,
Oh,
this
damn, I
to be
spelled
the
it wrong.
second company while we review their contract. I will say the
Battle
reason
juice,
for
battle
this
juice.
RFP going out are numerous
Oh, I
complaints
love
that
how
we're
you have a
receiving
check
on
mark
various
too.
pricing being done for individuals
That's
being
great.
told, people being
Yeah,
told
Tiff,
for
in the
one day
chat
at
for real.
500,
They're
700
gonna
and
think you're Tiff.
fluctuating rates.
Oh, look,
My
somebody's
concern
hi, actual
being
Justice
that,
Warrior. You got a fan. Angie's
they're violating
DIY
their
and
contract is not benefiting the residents of Dolton.
messages.
And we wanted to make sure that, we want to make sure that we have
You got a fan.
consistency in the towing fee, and we have a company that's willing to work with the administration as well, and most
I'm about to
importantly
send a
with the
super chat.
residents. I did highlight or note in the bid that was given, it was a fee
Oh,
for
yeah,
the first
another
day of
person shouted you out, didn't they?
$225 going
There's
back to
people
the
keeping up
residents of the
probably
village
from
of Dolton
because of your videos.
for each tow that's going in there, and they've promised to be good community partners. Additionally,
fun.
they
Who's
are the
worse,
tow con-
Beetlejuice
they
or
have a
Brendan
tow
Johnson?
contract with the
Brandon
city of Chicago, so
Johnson
they are
is
very
actually
large and
worse.
reputable
And Brian,
company.
no, you didn't miss her. They
But,
have not brought her out
to
yet.
answer your question, 'cause
They're
I
doing
did
their
kinda
regular
rattle a lot of
meetings
things off
because,
there,
you
but I
know,
just felt
they're
triggered something came through me.
they're what you call it. They're
Reason was because of
they actually have to do
contract
the regular governing for
disagreements. At this
Dalton.
moment, it will be
So,
two companies, but as
yeah.
we review their contract, it may go down to one.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that on record, because we don't want any pending litigation until we find out exactly what's going on, that they will remain in rotation until we move her.
What happens if
That's
she
all.
does
Thank
show
you.
up at this meeting?
So noted.
I know she's not
Any
supposed to, but
additional
what happens if she
comments?
does?
Well, she actually
And
is
I'm
supposed to.
sorry,
They're
that's
supposed to have
for
this in the
the,
village hall.
tow
So
company.
Oh,
that
but
we
she
approved
locked them
in
out.
2021,
So they're not
because
gonna get on
although we
So
found
she
out
doesn't
that
want to
there's
do
two
two
tow
meetings a
companies
month.
we
She's
approved.
too lazy for that. So she's
Correct.
canceled like 13 of these special meetings
Any
in a row.
additional comments? Hearing none, I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call, please.
Oh, here we go. Finally
Trustee
moving
Norwood?
on. You see.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House? Trustee Belcher?
You see
Aye.
Tiffany
Motion
show
passed.
up with a fake beard going,
Okay, I'm gonna
President.
switch the order around quickly. So I'm
didn't do
gonna take
nothing.
D before C. Item D
Well, I
is
don't
an
think Tiffany did
ordinance.
anything.
Make sure I get the
Comments
terminology.
are so funny. Isn't it weird that we're rooting for Lori Lightfoot of all people?
Yeah, of all people, we're like, go, Lori, go.
Rumor has it if you say her name in the mirror 3 times, she'll
24-008, an
show up and
ordinance
destroy
amending
your
the
city.
village code to add the requirement of 2 signatures on
I
check
guess
to
it's a
allow the mayor
double-edged
pro
sword because
tem
she
the
can also
authority to
show up
sign
and bust the
documents.
mayor that's been rude.
This
Yeah.
motion is put in place.
She's the one who had
The current ordinance has
He was
2
like,
signers
"This is
on our bank
completely
account,
out
the
of
mayor
line."
and the
At
clerk,
least this
which
is
is
something she's
the
on the right
rightful way.
side of.
We have challenged that before and had other court proceedings. This ordinance would allow for if the
Jump
mayor
in the
refuses
line, make
to
the hen
do
your
her
due time.
fiduciary
Okay,
duty
I
to
believe you.
sign checks that the board have approved, it makes sure that the mayor pro tem can sign in her absence. Again, only in
So
the
he's
absence
trying
of
to get the
refusal,
mayor
because
pro
we are
tem
recognizing
position.
that many cases a refusal to sign, which are delaying many projects similar to this park district and other items. So we've been able to utilize this mechanism to make sure village business continues and goes forward in the
So
proper
just to give you a
manner.
little context on
So,
what he just said there, because his
and
business is
this
not
is
that
a
interesting, so
procedural
I'm going to
thing that
lower
we
it.
need as we
Someone else
The
shouted you
Park
out.
District was the one that
Bank,
ran the
because
auto
at
show.
this moment,
That's like one of
we
the
only have-
first
the
things that she
clerk
shut
is the only
down
person that will be
because it
authorized, which is
competed with
where
her
if the mayor
event, even though she
refuses
doesn't have the
sign.
authority to
So
do
this gives
so.
us
And she actually had the police
mechanism
put
needed for the
concrete
village to
barriers up there.
authorize these
So now
signatures as
she's
well.
blocking a project
So,
because she
as
has
the
a
reason
grant
for
for the
this,
Park
I
District,
motion
and it's
that
going to
ordinance
expire in like a month or
24-008
two. I forget when. I did a
be
video
approved.
on
Now
this
ask for a
specifically.
second.
So she's still mad at the
Hearing a
Park
motion and
District
second, any
from
discussion?
2 years ago for this auto show.
Hearing none, clerk Key, roll
You're
call,
getting
please.
multiple shout outs and people
Trustee
talking to you in their
Norwood?
chat. In their chat.
Trustee Tammy
It's funny.
Brown?
Aye.
The
Trustee House?
super mayor won't be out of place
Trustee
in a
Belcher.
Boondocks episode.
Motion
True.
passed.
I honestly wish Kamala Harris was
Okay,
more
and
like
then
the
we're
super
going
mayor
to
and
cycle
less
back
like
to
Hillary
item C,
Clinton.
which is the presentation and preliminary findings from former Mayor Lightfoot. I have a couple of
I heard her name.
comments. I don't know if any board members had
Mhm.
comments too before I segue to
I'm
Mayor
scrolling through their
Lightfoot.
chat now.
Yeah, you got a few people have shouted you out. You got a couple fans in there.
So this process started.
There's
The
a
request
Beetlejuice,
started
Beetlejuice,
because for
Oh,
I would
God.
say up to at least
So
up
much
to a
fun.
year.
Oh,
Our
that's what I thought. You think
administration,
Super Mayor wears
and
a
more
wig while
importantly, the
typing in the
residents
chat?
have
So I
not
think
had
she
the
was going to show up
opportunity to know
with a
what's going on
mustache and be like,
financially
"Oh."
with the records in our town. We've also looked at the investigation into what happened in Vegas.
Just
And
showing
we were
support
not
for
able to get
the
answers.
channel.
While we
I
are
see the
aware
channel.
that there
I
are
will give
FBI
you the
subpoenas
scoop,
and
okay?
a probable FBI investigation, we
Very
feel and felt the need for
Keeping it
some
100.
answers that the community deserves, that this board deserves.
Yeah, I get it.
And
You
that
had the
in
most
order for us
corrupt
to be on
mayor
solid
the whole
footing to
time.
make a plan. From the pieces that I've seen, it mirrors exactly what we knew, is that we are in a dire financial position.
Yes, I want to hear it.
That is something that I think, as the numbers come, can be extremely frustrating to the residents of this community. And we want to make sure that we are recognizing where we are and using this as a jumping point to where we can to get back where we need to be and to thriving.
I'm going to put a
So we
poll.
want to make sure that everybody's taking in the information. We deserve to know this information. Want to echo the sentiments of Trustee Tammy Brown and saying thank you for all of the hours and all of the hard work. Not too many hours, we put a cap on it. But I want to say thank you for all of the hard work that has been put into this. We noted this as a preliminary report, but we felt it very urgent that we share the findings because we made promises to do
Somebody
this in
super
a
chatted.
transparent manner with the community.
Fantastic, Mr. Knox.
So
Okay, I'll wait
there
for it.
still
I'll
are
wait
some
for,
stages.
Sean.
to go.
I'm like
Sure, Mayor
creating a
Lightfoot will
poll
talk
right now
about
for the
some of the hurdles
for
and
the
obstacles.
audience.
Pull it up, pull
And
it up.
as a board, after the board has questions, the
Let me
board will
scroll
be
for that
present
one.
to answer what our next steps are.
gonna be fun.
But without further
It'd be
ado,
funny
I
if your
wanna,
stream gets more than
turn
the
over to
Dolton
Mayor
Trustee
Lightfoot.
stream. Listen, I'm
Like,
trying.
You're one
I'm
away right
trying
now.
to
You're
yank
one
them
away from tying up. It's 101 to 100.
No, I'm trying.
You're one away. You're really close to having the same amount of people watching, though. It's only
Right.
like 100-something people away.
I know. I want to yank
Can you
them
all
away.
hear me
So it's
just
pretty
fine?
close.
Oh, Lori
back of the room.
arrived.
There
All
we
right.
go.
First and foremost, I want to just emphasize a couple points that Trustee House and others have made. First of all, thank you to the trustees, to Madam Clerk, to Mike McGrath and Bert Odelson. This has been a challenging investigation, to say the
Actual
least,
Justice Lawyer
because
for Mayor
we have not
20.
received the level of cooperation from
Imagine I
the
get
mayor and her
banned from the
team that I
Dolton
would have
chat.
hoped. Nonetheless, we've had, I think, a breakthrough that's allowed us to be here in front of you today to give you the information that I know that the trustees for
Oh, I'm
sure and
so
the
excited.
members of the public have been seeking for some time. But I do want to emphasize, this is just preliminary. We have more work to do. But as
True.
Trustee House said, we believe that was very important.
That means more
to come
videos,
before,
guys.
the members of the public, so you would have some context for what the current state of your finances are as city government. As has been alluded to, I think there's going to have to be some tough decisions that are made, but you've got to make that with as
All right. So
complete
that white
a set of
lady that's next to
information as
Beetlejuice,
possible.
like,
And that's what this,
yay or
this
nay in the
presentation
chat.
is intended to do. Our work is ongoing,
This
and we expect
Actual Justice
to
Warrior said if Lori give the mayor
finish
5
with,
more months of content,
in
Zach, he
expedited
will take
fashion.
her
But
New
as I
York
said, we
City
wanted
style
to get to you as quickly as possible. A couple of points, just so we're all, I'm not an accountant, and I suspect many of you in the room are not, but we will be covering some accounting terms and wanted to just make sure that everybody had the same basic level of understanding as we go
Listen,
through these
you know you're in
slides.
desperate straits when Lori's your
We're
savior.
going to talk about how the village of Dolton handles its accounting system. We'll
Dear
talk
Lord, put
about
it back.
in length, in detail about the preliminary assessment of the financial status.
She's here, Spencer. She's here.
We're
It
going to go
worked
over
already.
what
did.
we've
you,
seen
though.
as
You summoned
increasing
her.
expenditures since 2021, unfunded expenditures,
Oh no.
the current
It's
cash
gonna be
status,
apocalyptic.
credit card use. Then we'll do a summary, and then we'll entertain
credit card use.
questions from the trustees.
I mean, women with credit cards. Am I right?
Yeah.
Thank you,
So let me
Mr.
just jump
716.
right into it. Many of you know that the The village, in
Awesome
the same manner as
avatar,
other municipalities
Oh, she's got
in the
PowerPoint.
state, accounts for its finances using what's called fund accounting. That means, that's just a fancy word of saying the expenses and the revenues are divided up into specific buckets of dollars.
Buckets.
And those funds are what we're going to be talking about.
I'm going to point out that this
The
has
village
never been
maintains three categories of fund: a general governmental fund, the proprietary fund, and a fiduciary fund. All right.
true.
Under
I'm
each
taking my pants
category,
off. I'm so excited.
I'm going to pass it to my
Gotta clean up.
colleague, Amanda, who will go into more detail about these.
Amanda, show.
So within each category,
Finally, a semi-attractive woman. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
within
That's what I was
each
asking people if
category
they were
of
into.
funds, there are
Last.
underlying funds that are used to account for resources that are for different purposes. The first category, governmental funds, includes the general fund, which is going to be the
Fiduciary.
focus of our presentation this evening. And the general fund is what's used to account for the day-to-day operations of the village. Additionally, there are what are known as special revenue funds. These are
515
specific
name,
funds
Shazia.
for specific purposes. This includes the motor fuel tax and TIF money.
No,
final
it's called
governmental
TIF money.
fund
Why?
is
Of
debt
course, she
service
thought she was
funds,
allowed to
where the
spend it.
village's debt obligations are accounted for, which is primarily the public bond debt. The final two categories of funds, which we will not be covering today, are proprietary funds, which account for transactions that are more business in nature, operations that should be funded by customer payments. That's the water fund, the sewer fund, and the fitness center.
Right.
And the final are fiduciary funds, which are held for non-governmental parties, and that is the village's pension trust funds.
They attacked her character, acting her legally. This doesn't work. Her life will be next. Free TIF for president
So let's
2024.
jump into the specifics. Many of you know that the village's
all a conspiracy
fiscal
against
year
it.
runs from May 1 to April 30th. So it's those 12 months, but they spanned 2 years. Certain financial disclosures are mandated under state law that the village reports to
Amanda,
the comptroller of the state each fiscal year.
Right.
Two documents that we're going to talk specifically about are the annual financial report, and you see the citation there. It's a state law, and the audited
I will
financial
say this is a very
statements.
uninspiring
The village has
PowerPoint by
not-
Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah.
And let me repeat that. The village has not
Yeah, she needs some, like,
complied
anime
with these
characters in there.
statutory requirements
No.
since
Spice
fiscal
it
year
up, action lines.
2021. There's no annual financial
This is
report
a lot to
available
say that
after
Tiffany stole from
2021,
all
and
three
no
of those
audited
funds.
financial statements after 2021. So what that means is the information that we're providing you has not been thoroughly audited by a CPA, but we do have information coming from an entity that essentially serves as the finance department of the village.
She is definitely not the ghost with the most. baby.
Historically, from what we can tell, the village has had small or no full-time financial staff. At various times, even though statutorily there's a provision for a city treasurer, none exists.
Bring
and
back
hasn't for some time.
Blagojevich.
There's a provision for a finance director. There's been intermittent people that have served that role, but that role has been vacant as of May of this year.
It's like at a
And
corporation
before
where
that,
all the
person
accountants
who held the
resign. You
role
know some
started
fraud's going
working
on.
part-time as of the end of December in 2023. So as you can see, given the lean or no financial staff, there's a lot of dependence upon the John Kasparic accounting firm, which is functionally operated as the village's finance department for some time. What we have examined
They've been
are
operating without a
monthly
financial
financial
department,
reports from
basically.
January of 2021 to May of 2024, produced
Crazy.
by the
You see
Kasparic
my chat.
firm.
I'm like, who needs an accountant? Dalton needs more Tahoes.
And
Yeah.
as I mentioned, due to the
I'll
village's
let my
failure
Tahoe
to
do the
conduct
accounting.
an audited financial statement, there, we have to caveat the accuracy of the information. But
Somebody
we
in the
feel
said she don't
confident
do
based
day-to-day.
upon, lining out not only the monthly reports, but looking at bank statements that match up with the information that's in the financial reports. And we've had the opportunity to talk to some of the folks at the
That white
Kasparic
lady looked
firm
real
who are
angry.
responsible
Oh,
for
yeah.
managing the finances of the village, and that
She
work
looked like
is
she
ongoing.
about to attack somebody.
She want to get out of here.
As of May 30th of this year,
Oh, I like the
the
red
village's
line.
general fund was in a net deficit position, meaning that there is insufficient funds in that general fund.
Something that Tiffany has heard
As
in
we
her
mentioned, the
personal
general
life.
fund is used to account for the majority of the village's day-to-day operations, including payroll and vendor payments.
Ooh.
The village's special revenue fund and debt service fund, however, are in a positive position, but each of those funds are restricted funds, meaning you cannot borrow from one to give to the other. And that is what's causing, in part, the financial crisis. What's next you can see is a graphic that depicts where we started as of April, where the village
Literally have to
started
show
as
the
of
my
balance.
fiscal
God.
Here's the
22
deficit.
was
Here's
positive of $5.6
It is $7
million
million.
in the general fund,
Holy
and where we
crap.
are as of
It's a village of
May of
20,000
2024,
people.
which is a
the
negative
deficit of 7
$3.65 million.
By the way, you guys who picked 10,
Mayor Lightfoot, if I may.
7 was the number
Yes.
they've been saying for a while.
Just
Damn.
kind of as a summary now,
That's high.
just quick numbers. So in a 2-year span, we're talking about a $9
She's
million
bailing.
swing or
They
$9
pulled that
million
together.
of
It's
She's
deficit.
out.
close to
Of
10
course,
because they did have a
time,
surplus
Yes.
before that. So like a $10 million swing. He just said 9, but that's pretty damn close.
Dolton's broke.
Jesus. 20,000 people. Median
Yeah.
income is
Turning now
$20,000,
to the increasing
$24,000.
expenditures of the
Yeah.
village.
She's bankrupted town.
Over the last 3 fiscal years, the average monthly expenditures of the village have increased by nearly 30%.
30%.
As you can see in the graphic, in fiscal year
No.
2022,
Oh,
on average, the
shit.
village spent about
God,
$1.9
no.
million a month.
Woo!
But in the last fiscal year,
Girl,
that
you
amount has
going to
declined to
jail.
$2.5 million.
Oh boy.
These
Tiffany,
increasing
get on the
expenditures
boat
have
and go
not been
quick.
accompanied
Those
by
flowers are
corresponding
for you.
increases in revenue. Again, as you see in the graph on the blue bars, the revenues have remained relatively the same over that time
Oh, that's
period.
killer for
Just
Super
over
Mayor
$24
because
million.
she said she
While
was bringing in
expenditures
all
have
this
climbed
money.
from $23
Mhm.
million in 2022 to $30
I'm actually
million
starting
in
to root for my girl. She's the
2024.
once in a generation
Ultimately,
character.
in fiscal
True.
years
Listen, I want
2023
her
and
to stay
2024,
selfishly, but
expenditures
like
exceeded
this
revenue.
can't stand.
Specifically in 2024, it was over $5 million more in
Just come on and
expenditures
say
than
the
revenue.
host spent all your money and all the money you didn't have.
To look further
Thank you,
at
please.
the increasing expenditures, the table on the screen highlights the 2 village departments that are the main drivers of
The
this
police department.
spending increase. The general administration and administrative
Oh
compensation
my
department
God.
and the police department.
Whoa. You hear
It's
the people in
overtime.
the audience. I hear the people
Yeah.
that are watching going, oh my God. Like they didn't see how-
Jesus.
I guess they didn't know how much
Turning
this was.
first to
Yeah,
the
look,
general
6.4
administration
to
department.
9.4.
Turning first to the general administration
Unaudited.
line, the increase in expenditures here has grown about approximately 47%. This was around $6.4 million in fiscal year 2022.
Oh my
And
God.
it was $9.4 million in fiscal year 2024.
You know what's crazy? They're not even fielding more police officers to help
There have
people.
been
It's for her
increases
security
in general
detail.
administration spending
Damn.
in nearly every
Defund the
area,
police,
but there are a
somebody said in the
handful
chat.
that stick out the most. As you can see on the first line, the largest driver of this increase is
Sale all
a
them
more than
Tahoes,
double
Tiff.
change in liability insurance
Jesus
costs.
Christ.
It's gone from 1.2 million in fiscal year 2022 to 3.2 million in fiscal year 2024. Other areas where we see large increases are
telephone, too.
miscellaneous expenditures,
let her on that
settlements,
phone.
legal fees, and telephone.
Let me just add regarding the
Damn,
legal
does she have a
fees.
sprint plan from the 90s?
These
Like
are
they're billing her
everything
for
that we're
minutes?
representing to you tonight
Jeez.
are things that have been
Telephone,
booked
yeah.
in
Jeez,
one of
how
the
much you
general
paying for
ledgers or
telephone? Look
otherwise.
at that shit.
We know that the legal fees that have been booked so far are underestimated because there are a number of legal fees that have yet
How
to be
broke? MC
paid.
Hammer
And
broke?
obviously, with the litigation that's been
Oh.
filed, particularly by vendors who have not been paid, those legal fees will definitely.
That is
this
true
a
because she
very
had a bunch of, she had
conservative
one of her
estimate
firms
of what
quit
those fees
representing her
actually
because
are.
they weren't
Mhm.
paying them. Like for basic services, they have to pay all of it in advance because nobody trusts
Let me drill a
her.
little bit down also in what we're seeing so far with the police department. Those expenditures have increased approximately 21% since FY
Defund the
22.
police.
Some of that is obviously driven by
Anyone
the
else here
union
from the
contracts
actual
and
justice
making
one?
sure that there's retro pay and that the police officers are compensated according to the collective bargaining agreement. Within the
I
police
need to take a
department
look at this.
expenditures, categories with
Oh
large
my
increases
God, the
include
overtime.
Look at that over.
other miscellaneous expenses,
Holy
and I will tell you, we
shit.
don't know
What a
exactly
jump.
what
Pardon
that
my
is, but we're
swearing.
working on
Almost. Yeah.
impacting that,
From 1 year, from
unpacking that,
2022 to
contractual services,
2023, it
other
almost
professional
doubles.
services, and medical insurance. We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as two outliers.
Oh my God.
I love that you can hear people in the
Young
audience like, oh my
William
God, like
Reed.
freaking out. Like,
Both of these
wow.
individuals in the last
So
2
funny.
years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation.
Jeez. I just had a police
That's
siren go
insane.
off.
And
I
you
don't know
can
if
see
anybody
these
heard
numbers
it.
here.
Nah, I didn't hear.
Officer
Holy
Terry Young
crap.
in
I
FY
heard the crowd react to that.
2023
They were like,
earned
wow.
$194,290
Go to
total,
jail. What the
given the
hell?
base salary and the overtime. And then
Oh,
in FY 2024, that increased to
What's up with the personal sick and
$227,351
vacation pay? Are they
combining the
doing that
base
double
salary
dipping thing where
and
you
the
take a
overtime.
vacation and then bill
Officer
overtime?
Reed, for FY 2023, had a total earnings of $145,450.
God, 227,000. I'm like still in awe of this. $227,000 for Terry Young. That's the guy
We
that
thought it
billed
also
30.
important for you to know
He built
that
303 hours of
acting
overtime.
Chief Lacey has accumulated.
The other
overtime.
guy makes more than the freaking police
It's our
chief.
understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But
yet
as you
he's
can
been
see
taking
here,
a lot of
for
overtime.
FY 22,
He's not entitled
FY
to.
23, and FY 24, and we're now in fiscal year
Terry Young made more
2025.
money than
Through
all
those
of this.
4 years,
Oof,
he's
these
accumulated
numbers are
Terry
bad.
Young, like, just, like, you know,
$215,747
growing
$1,000
exponentially,
just in
39,067 to 96. It's like an exponential.
Well,
growth.
he came in as a replacement. Like the other police chief wasn't having this, so he got the boot. Holy crap!
Now we're going to move, ladies and
Jail.
gentlemen, to
Yeah, this is
unfunded
bad.
expenditures. And this is really focused on, as we alluded to,
That's more than Chicago.
we're going to move
PD
to
police
unfunded
officers
expenditures.
Make. That's more
and
than
this is really
NYPD police
focused on
officers
checks
make. That's
that have been
crazy.
approved by the board from warrant lists that have come before the board.
Listen, I don't do the day-to-day shit,
held
okay?
and not sent to the vendors.
Free
Based on
Terry
the
Young in
records
the
that we have
chat.
reviewed since March of 2023, the
Oh
village
my
has been
God.
unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance. Since that time, nearly every month, a portion of the checks approved and printed have been held by the village due to unavailability of funds.
She's halfway to
Per
Peru by
records
now.
from the John Kasparic firm, as of June 18th, 2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million that have been approved,
The
printed,
crowd
but
here.
not transmitted.
It almost
to
sounds like the
vendors.
building's
And
haunted
that
in
is
this
a
house.
big
Like,
driver of the deficit in the general fund.
It's a $7 million deficit.
This
and
over
that's
$6 million
600
in held checks
for $6 million.
I want to caution, does not account for additional monies potentially owed by the village to vendors for which checks have not even been printed.
Oh,
These categories which we
no.
are looking into include, for example, invoices that have been received by village departments, but for one reason or another may not have been entered into the accounting system, which is called My Viewpoint. These invoices could have been entered into the accounting system, but not been approved by department heads or by the village
but they still
administrator.
paid out.
And this could also include invoices that have not been approved by payment for the Board of Trustees. You're aware that from time to time, the warrant lists are presented. The trustees say, pay this, not pay that. Well, those checks that are on the warrant list roll over from time to time. And it probably makes sense just to explain really briefly. There is not a centralized repository for vendors to put their checks in electronically, or their invoices, I should say, so that it's automatically in the system. It has to be either hand delivered or sent via
Yeah,
email,
this
it
makes
goes to
sense
the
because
appropriate
you had the
department head,
repossession vehicle
then it's up to
thing,
that
and
department
the
head
village
to
found out about it
approve,
really
and
late in that
enter
process.
those invoices into the MyPoint system. And it depends upon the dollar amount of the invoice, who has final approval for those invoices to make it onto the warrant list. But that's the way the process works now. It will not surprise you that one of the recommendations that we will have when we finish our work
These
is that
cops were
the
watching
village
and
invest
realize
in
that they're
an
going to jail.
automated system
Hit the
so
lights
that
and the
nothing
sirens
falls
and
between
running.
the
Yeah,
cracks.
take off.
The vendor will
Yeah,
be able
they're
to
out.
see real
The problem
time,
is their
where
vehicles
is my
got
invoice
repossessed.
moving through the
Yeah,
system, and
All
you'll
the
know
Tahoes
where
got
it sits,
repossessed.
either with the department head.
Well, the Tahoes they're
or
trying to
otherwise.
sell. Those always get paid on time. The crowd is like stunned. Everybody
right.
knew it was
We'll
this
turn
bad,
now
though.
to discuss the cash status of the village.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So the village has
The
22
Benjamins.
different
Oh
bank
my
accounts.
god.
A majority of
Whoa,
those bank
decrease.
accounts are designated for the special revenue
Wow.
funds or bond escrow funds. So the money in those bank accounts is restricted and shouldn't be used for day-to-day operations.
I
I'll
don't do
also
the
note that
day-to-day
these 22 accounts
operations.
don't include the pension assets. The pension assets are held in separate trust accounts. Most of the village's expenditures each month are paid from one main operating bank account. As of June 30th, 2024, that bank account had a balance of $715,000.
No.
As of April 30th, 2021, that account had a balance of almost $1.5 million.
Jeez.
So a decrease of
More
over
than half.
$750,000.
About 50% decrease.
What?
More than 50%.
Yeah, more. It's a little more
In
than half.
addition to the main operating account,
Jeez.
historically,
Oh
the
my
village
God,
has
you
held
attacking
its excess
completely.
cash
Oh!
in an account known as Illinois
Oh
funds.
my god.
Illinois funds
Holy
are
crap.
interest-bearing accounts that are managed by
Holy
the
crap.
Illinois Treasurer's Office that allow municipalities to earn interest on their excess cash balance.
This is
The
incredible.
balance in the Illinois
There was
funds
$2
account
million
as of
in
June
there.
30th was only $3,900.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yo,
As
how
of
many people
April
in chat
30th,
have more than
2021,
$3,900?
that balance was
Oh my
over $2
God.
million. So the balance
Also, put
of
likes
excess
in the
cash
chat,
has
guys.
dropped
Hit
by
like.
over $2 million
Yeah,
We're trying to
in
get
that
more
time
likes than
period.
this.
Congrats. Oh my god.
Stream without. Let's go. Hey, what's up, Prominent?
The monthly
Nice.
financial reports include a
Yo, it might
summary
be
of
$10
the
million. You guys
unrestricted
might have won
cash
that poll.
balances
Yeah.
of the village each
Yeah,
month.
I think so.
Within these summaries, the balance
Holy
reflected already accounts
the
for
crowd.
those held checks that Mayor
That's
Lightfoot was
incredible.
just discussing, checks that have been
I can't
issued
believe
but
this
haven't
deficit.
cleared because they haven't
So
been
they're
sent
supposed
yet
to
to
put their
vendors.
excess cash
What
and
you
earn
can see
interest
on the
with that
chart
money,
is
and
that
it's just
the
gone.
unrestricted
Yeah,
cash
it's gone. All
balance
the
of the
excess
general
cash is
fund
gone.
has dropped from almost $5 million as of April of
This
2022.
town is going to
And
be
it is
real mad
now
about this.
accounting for all of the checks that have yet to be sent is now in a deficit position of over $5.5 million as of May of 2024.
Oh my god. Oh no, we're not even at credit cards yet.
We're not even at credit card. This is just cash. This was cash. This was excess.
This is like
I got put in the front, yeah.
apocalyptic. Yo,
That was
y'all
just
might
like
need to
a-
super chat Dolton.
We
Maybe
Now
thought
we're
it was
going
more than
towards
me.
credit.
to give you a little bit of insight into
Holy
credit card
shit.
use
This is bad.
by village employees. We do not have complete information yet.
Oh my god.
It is our hope that we will get further
Oh, this is
cooperation
where we're gonna get into
and be
the
able to
first
have a
class
complete
flight.
picture of credit cards. But we wanted to share with you what we do know so far. We are aware that over this time period, from 2021 to the present, the village used 6 different credit cards at various points, from January 2021 through May of this year. 4 American Express cards that appear to have been used by various folks within the police department. The statements for these accounts were addressed to Ernest Mobley, Robert Collins, and Louis Lacey.
Mayor, may I interject there for a moment? Because we have.
We have an interjection.
It was former Deputy Chief Mobley is present with us.
Mowgli?
and our amazing officer, so I'm sorry. There was
I didn't know we were
mis-
getting into Jungle Book in
misuse
here.
Or misconduct on
Mowgli.
that behalf, so I want to make sure I state that because he has been an exemplary officer.
Holy crap.
Yeah, all we know is what we've seen in the paper so far. We have not interviewed any of these folks to get a better understanding of the
She paid over
specifics around
$55,000
credit
in
card use.
interest on a Chevy Tahoe.
We have
It's gonna
some
be a
knowledge of that,
apocalyptic.
but we'll share that as part of the
Amex
final
cards
report.
also, a lot of them
There's
don't
one
have
American
credit
Express
limits.
card for which statements are addressed to Keith Freeman, the village administrator. And there was a one Fifth Third
No.
card, which statements are addressed to the village. We've been told that that card is no longer in use.
You know, somebody send in Dave Ramsey.
We understand from the records we've received from the Kasperic company in interviews that we
Kasperic. Uh-oh, I knew Anna
conducted
Kasperian was
that
involved.
receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided.
Oh.
Further, we understand that the
Also, I
credit
have
card
no idea what
balance,
these credit cards were
because
used
it
on.
comes due, of course, every month, we all know that, is paid as a matter of course. And it was reflected in the accounting records as miscellaneous police department expenditures. We're looking into what is the reason and rationale for that. But what this means is
Yeah, they
that
gotta
these
audit
credit
that
card
stuff.
bills that are paid do not appear on warrant lists and are therefore not presented to the board for approval.
Oh, this is
Again, that will be a
oh, yeah,
recommendation
crazy stuff.
that we make, and the board
Yeah,
is
and they're not
obviously
sure what
aware
that
of this
stuff is for,
issue,
so they gotta audit that stuff
which
to
is
find
in
out what
part
they
why
used it.
they took the
they
action that
know
they took
that
the other day
the board doesn't see
to
that
rein
even
in
more
the
than
credit
the other
card
stuff.
spending.
Imagine what they're doing with
We also understand
Mhm.
from the Kasperic company that the only time a credit card charge would be reflected on a warrant list is if a receipt is provided. And as I've said, our
That's his
information
excuse.
is
Yeah.
that the receipts are rarely provided.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We want to
Yeah.
highlight a couple
Amazon.
Oh,
Best Buy.
no!
Well, Best Buy, I can see electronic stuff maybe. Walgreens.
Oh,
Oh, people
God.
are
You're
already
having
like,
the same reaction
"Oh."
that we did when we saw this.
When we saw,
Oh, my God.
Ooh-wee. This is for police.
Why are the police spending 33,000? Yo, they're about a riot.
So in
This
particular,
is the
we were
justified riots right
very
here.
Oh,
concerned to see the top three purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, little more than that, in credit card purchases
all on the
on
same day.
Amazon in the same day.
Damn, Tiffany.
And our
42,000.
understanding is that the village does not have an Amazon account.
That
These are
Wayfair.com
somebody
is really
using
hot, too. I don't
one of
know
the
what
credit
Wayfair is.
cards and charging
In their own
these
Amazon
amounts
account.
using your tax dollars.
Oh,
We
somebody,
suspect we're going to
that's
see,
jail
as you
right
can
there for
see,
somebody. That's
expenditures at
embezzlement.
Target, Walgreens, Best Buy,
Wayfair.
a number
Somebody
of
got furniture.
charges that
Mhm.
raise questions in our mind.
They got
Are
furniture
these
for the homes.
legitimate
It was for the police
purchases
department or something.
using the credit cards?
No.
And they don't have anything.
What we've
to
also
show.
found in the credit cards, I know that there's been a lot of interest in travel. And we are highlighting here on this slide some of the travel that is reflected in the village credit cards. Birmingham, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama in March of 2023 with 5 known travelers. Washington, D.C. in 2023 with 4 known travelers.
Jesus.
Las Vegas, Nevada with 8 known travelers.
That's the one we know about.
Jackson, Mississippi in June of 2023 with 3
Better
known
hit the road.
travelers.
100%
Austin,
chance there's more than a
Texas
few.
in July of
Rock
2023
switches
with
and
3 known
disavow.
travelers. Portland, Oregon in July of 2023 with 4 travelers. Central and Southern Illinois in September of 2023. I think you're aware of what happened during that time. 10 hotel rooms booked
Oh, that's her
during that
walk.
travel.
The walk for
Traveled
her
in New
fake
York
charity.
City in October of 2023.
Dolton
One
Trustees just
traveler.
posted in their chat,
Atlanta,
Clean House
Georgia
2025.
in November of 2023, 1 traveler on the village's
There was one
credit
traveler
cards.
on the Atlanta
And
trip. That's the one who stayed at the
I
Four
caveat
Seasons.
that because we will and are continuing to look at, I'll say, cross-pollination between the village and the township
Oh yeah,
and the
she
credit
grew
card
in
use
township.
there as well.
Okay. So some of those might be legit, some of them might not.
No.
Oh no, are they all not
So
legit?
let me
They're
summarize for
probably
you
all excessive,
kind of
but
where,
she has
what we
more
presented,
credit
what we
card
found so
statements
far
at the township.
regarding the finances. The general fund is used to pay the vast majority of the village's expenses. As you heard, as of May 31st of this year, the fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million. The village's general fund expenditures have exceeded revenues the past 2 fiscal years ending April 30th, 2023 and April 30th, 2024.
Oof.
As of June 30th of this year, the cash on hand in unrestricted accounts is insufficient to cover the held checks valuing $6.1 million.
Somebody drag Roland Martin.
We are in the
out
current
here, 'cause
fiscal
he took-
year
he t-
of
he
FY
bought into all this crap.
2025, and the village has no budget
No
that's been
budget.
passed this year. The village's financial records have not been audited since FY 2021, and the village has not filed the mandated state annual reports since FY 2021.
God.
So where are we in terms of next steps? Regarding the financial information, there's a lot more work that we need to do, as I indicated. We've just recently got a lot of information in the door that is reflected for the most part in this presentation, but there are other things that we have asked for, and we're hoping that we're going to get further cooperation from the Kasperic accounting firm.
I wouldn't trust
Additional
the
details
Kasperic
regarding
firm.
credit card spending, and any receipts that might exist. Detailed accounting records and reconciliations,
Oh, they don't
check
have the
registers,
goods on the
which
Vegas
is
trip?
important. Detailed accounting of inter-fund transfers and balances. What we're seeing, and we need to really look at the detail here, is that there is a transfer from one fund, in some instances there's restricted funds, into another fund, and
Oh,
vice versa.
that's criminal, by the way.
Additional detail, we're looking at what were the financial policies and practices in place, and whether or not those need to be changed, updated, or beefed up in any way. We are continuing to look at what happened in Las Vegas. There are two trips.
Well, what happened in
One
Vegas
in,
stays in Vegas.
May of 2022, and a second in May of
Yeah, the draining
2023.
from
And
township
as I
to
alluded
village
to
thing, this
earlier,
is a big problem she will have.
the relationship and the intermingling of funds and personnel with
Mhm.
Thornton Township is something we're very focused on
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah, that's gonna be the
defer
big
to
thing.
the trustees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're plotting this shit like, yeah, we finally got
Those
a tally and a
numbers
record of
were
what's going on.
apocalyptic. Holy
yeah.
crap.
Those
Well,
are horrible numbers.
First and foremost, I want to thank
The village of
Mayor
Dolton,
Lightfoot,
20,000
our
people,
colleagues,
remember.
as well as our legislative attorneys as well for the time and effort put into that. So again, I'll ask for a round of applause for the work that's been done.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Lightfoot.
I'm gonna defer to any of the board members, see if
She
there's
actually came in
questions
and
of
did
the
it right
report that
there.
has been presented.
Tiffany's like the kind of
Okay,
person
I'm
that
gonna
you would
turn over to
send
Trustee
to
Norwood.
govern a foreign country that you hated.
Yeah, to
That was a
destroy
lot
their
to
economy.
digest there.
Yes.
I just want for the residents that, because I know sometimes there are a lot of residents that still don't understand. For us trustees, our job is to oversee the finances. For the last 3 years, I know it looks as though there's been a lot of fighting, but we've been fighting for transparency
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that things like this won't happen. We were locked
Yeah, they
out of
lost
my
all their money.
viewpoint maybe about a year or two ago. Once we did start sharing the receipts and the information with the residents, they stopped that, right?
Yeah.
Police overtime. In the very beginning, we stated, hey,
True.
I wasn't even totally opposed to police detail of some sort, but what I stated was
Dolton
for
would
how
be
long
Frame damage.
and how many, right? That's important. And it was important because now they never gave us this information, and now we see that we're spending millions of dollars in overtime, and the only one really protected in Dolton is her, and it's not fair. Vendors, you all
She
have
has so
heard me
many
say for the
officers in
last
her
few
details.
years,
There's
bring
less officers
RFPs
on
in
the
front of the
streets,
board,
even though
bring
they're spending way
RFPs in
more.
front of the board. It's extremely important that we have a process put in place so that as trustees, we can make the right decisions regarding vendors. We want these services to be provided to the residents. I want you all to know that we're never against you all receiving services, but we don't want to pay more. We don't want people receiving kickbacks and charging us way more for the services that the residents deserve.
Damn, it's a
hopefully
long time
moving
till the first
forward,
Monday in
we can get the
September,
mayor
and the
to
mayor's going to be in the
work with
meeting.
us and provide some of this information. I mean, that's the hopes. But in the meantime, we'll
Jeez.
continue to show up. We're going to continue to work with the residents. We're going to continue to get you the information, right? And Dawn, let's just hang in there. We're almost there. We're doing all the necessary steps in terms of a board, because we still want to try to work with this administration to the end. Our goal is still to attempt, no matter what, for the residents. So I just want you all to know that we want to work together. That's the goal. We are put here for checks and balances, and hopefully they can start bringing things in front of us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was having a lot of trouble with that microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they were fighting for a long time. I give them credit for like trying to get this information, and Tiffany's incinerating the money.
Yeah, Trustee Belcher.
Trustee Belcher is the one that's like she's like the wildest one.
Yeah, I know it took everything.
This
in
camera guy's
my
drunk, though.
soul
Yeah, I don't know what he
to sit
did.
here and stomach this report. As we've been saying, and I'm gonna refer back to Trustee Norwood. Anybody that has watched the meetings, I said the checks that's sitting on the desk that ain't been cashed. Nobody has to come to a board meeting and tell a lie about anything. It's common sense. It's simple multiplication. When you have people emailing you every day about their invoices and payments. This goes as far back of June 9, 2020.
Yes, she will. Stop implying stuff like that, guys.
It's sad. It's sickening. People came last month when we got our tax bills in an uproar about the tax. Can y'all imagine when we do take initiative to even start straightening this out, how our tax bill is going to look? That $6.8 million did never come. And it was spent before deposited.
Yeah.
It's simple math. $6 million, $6.1 million in checks sitting somewhere. $40,000 at Amazon.
Amazon.
What a slap in the face to everybody that reside in 60419 zip code. The meeting, and Mayor Lightfoot, I'm so grateful for this information that you provided, because it takes somebody else to come in to show that we've been trying to stop this, and we've been doing minimal damage. So could you have imagined if we just sat up there and approved everything that was going on?
Yeah.
Because she gonna ride off in her BMW and we'll still be here stuck.
Take that BMW to jail.
Right,
we have been financially raped. And when people rape people,
whoa,
they get anything they deserve.
I thought she said wrecked first.
Amazon shopping spree on Dolton tax dollars.
I'm just going to say what I've been saying for months and months and months. The bag been empty in 2022.
True.
The bag, it was never anything in the bag. And you still continue to say, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying. Here is proof for everyone to see. And even the ones who doubt us.
Somebody said this video is going to get demonetized.
There's nothing I can say to you. Even last week, sitting with Mayor Lightfoot.
Someone said they could afford a cordless bike at Tiffany, not spend all the money.
You've been hoodwinked.
They could get lava bikes for all of them.
Led astray. All of that.
They could afford full-size bottles of water if Tiffany didn't spend the money.
Yeah, they gotta have these little video. You gotta save water, y'all.
Every board meeting, I don't say much because I just can't see how the girl tell lies like that. It's unbelievable
an accomplice
for a person to say that and for people to believe. So we thank God for Mayor Lightfoot's
Let's
being
not
here today.
exaggerate. She's still
Her
Lori Lightfoot.
presentation. Now, if this doesn't open up the eyes to these residents and let us know what as we say, the black jobs mean black vote. Everybody, tell somebody. February of 2025, clean house.
Clean house.
Clean house. You got to. This is just unbelievable. I mean, to even sit here, even though I said last week, it's a stomach ache. I've been punched all over tonight. It's ridiculous to see how our tax dollars have been recklessly spent by this young lady. So definitely give us time, residents. We're asking you to work with us. We're doing our
She's doing her best not to curse her out, calling her a young lady. I know she probably wants to call her something else.
The big one that just spoke, she's the one that always gets into the screaming matches with
yeah, there are things that
like she matches that energy.
Okay, I'm gonna also ask Attorney Olderson to comment on some of the work that he's been doing.
Damn, they need a cordless mic.
They really do,
you
man.
gotta switch seats, bro.
Tiffany screwed them with that budget. They would be having these high-tech Shure mics.
So my takeaways from tonight and from what we have seen over the last 3 years that we have been legislative counsel for these trustees. Number one, the hiring of Mayor Lightfoot was not only smart, but incredibly necessary, as you've seen tonight. Her work is extraordinary and will continue to produce information for this board and for the public, which you need to know and the board needs to know in order to try to right the ship. Without her and her skill and her staff, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight with this information for you.
The last thing you go for is the court tonight.
There is a lot of work to do. More financial discovery from Mayor Lightfoot, more layoffs and readjustment of personnel, leadership change at the police department, stopping of harassment of employees, and for us, the lawyers, trying to work with
a lot of
40-plus
political enemies
lawsuits that have been filed against this village in the last 3 years. Our firm has not been paid for 3 years. Why? Because the mayor won't sign the checks in hopes of us leaving. She has a motion to fire us on every agenda and usually rails against us on every agenda. But I can tell you this, we're not leaving and we're staying with Dolton.
Oh, well, they owe them 3 years of back pay, so yeah.
I just ask as a human being, not as a lawyer, not as a politician, that the people of the village of Dolton stick with this board of trustees because they're heroic in and of themselves.
I'm not sure if the audience will speak.
And I don't say that because there's an election coming. You'll get plenty of information on that. But I say that because we have hard months ahead. Knowing these finances, knowing what we just went through to get some insurance for the village, which was extraordinarily difficult and incredibly costly.
Yeah. I mean, who would insure this?
Have a lot of work to do to right the ship, a lot. So I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot, who I've known for many years and admired for many years, and her staff. And I certainly want to thank the Mayor Pro Tem and the trustees and your wonderful clerk who works under difficult conditions.
I mean, I'll just lower this for a bit. If you guys don't remember this guy that's talking, he's the corruption expert.
Today,
he's been in Illinois
even though
politics
the
for
mayor
30 years
changed the
investigating
locks
corruption.
Again for the third time to lock everybody out of the village hall, including the employees and the trustees that she didn't want in there. So we continue every day. There's something new.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you, Jason House, and the board and Mayor Lightfoot. Thank you.
Look at these tables, man. That's in junior high school production.
I want to highlight one comment made by Attorney Olderson, Attorney McGrath. 3 years with no pay. 3 years without pay. Not many, if any, other attorney would take on that walk with the board, with the residents of this community. And it seemed that every turn as things were getting worse, Bert got more pissed.
Somebody says, why haven't the feds jumped in? They are
So
investigating.
I'll just jab at him and say, you heard what she say about
She'd
you?
be investigated by
But
multiple fronts.
in all candidly speaking, there is, when we talk about partnerships and what it takes for us to try to get to an end. And I'm saying this because, as you see, we have a big hole. So we want to make sure
Big
that
help.
the partnerships continue, because that's
As you
what's
see,
gonna
we
get
got a
us
big
out of this
help.
hole as well. And I want to say
Jeez.
thank you for.
Don't be so
the
vulgar
service
on my
that you guys are
stream,
providing.
Jason House.
And that hole is named Tiffany
I
Henry.
want to turn over to Mayor Lightfoot for kind of her final comments. As the board has asked questions, we're going to pause to give them a moment to exit. The board is here to answer questions.
Oh,
But
that might be
also
fun.
serious
if you
about
guys
this
are worried
hourly
for the
rate that I
audience.
don't want to make sure we spend frivolously.
It's the friends and family discount, I can assure you.
But we want to make sure all comments are heard. And
Yeah, he just made a
and
money
rightfully
joke
so.
and people
The
laughed.
board is
like
here,
gallows humor.
and we'll make some comments on what our next steps and our plan is, and we're here to hear from the residents after that. But Mayor Lightfoot,
Oh,
please.
I want to hear from the residents.
I just want to share a couple of final comments with you all. I know how I felt when I started seeing these numbers. So I can imagine how all of you are feeling after all this time being in the dark. And I just want to let you know this isn't just a job. This isn't just some task. We feel this. And so we have worked very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you. You may hear a number of things in the coming days, but what I can assure you is the information that we have shared, that we're putting our names on, is drawn directly from the financial records of this village.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here sharing this information, advising the trustees and talking with legislative council if we didn't have confidence in the numbers. There are a number of other things we know, but we aren't ready yet. We got to verify them 20 ways from Sunday. But this, if you hear this is fake news, it's not real. No.
It's real.
Yeah. It's real.
This is real.
It's real.
The last thing I'll say is we figured that folks would probably want to take a little time to study these numbers in a little more detail. We have 100 copies of this deck that we will leave, paper copies. So after the meeting is over, you can feel free to come get them. First come, first serve. Don't worry, media. We've already shared the electronic copies with you all, so you should have that. But again, thank you.
Yo, where's my
Thank you for
electronic
showing up
copy,
for
Lori?
yourselves and for your families and for your community.
All right, get out of here. Get out of here, Beetlejuice. Your work is done.
I'm going to pause briefly to give Mayor Lightfoot and our attorney.
How do you
a
get
moment to
you say
exit,
Beetlejuice to
and
get her
then
to
we'll
appear?
make
What do you
some
say to get her?
final comments from the board in terms of next steps, and then we will open for
This
citizens.
had me crack up because he's like, we can't afford to pay her. Look at our financials. You got to go. So they're going to take questions. That's going to be fun. I definitely want to stay for that. But if they're going to take a break, I think I need to go to the baño. Alf, will you hold down the stream? You'll hold down the fort?
I'll try.
All right.
I'll talk to chat. Let's see what the chat say.
All right. I'll be back. Everybody keep it clean while Alf is here. Also, I put his channel at the top of the description.
That's right. Go visit my channel. I haven't posted in a while, but I've been busy this summer. I will post it. There's a lot of stuff going on. I want to ask a question. Yeah, what's up, Charles? Get your N-words ready. Is Sean going to the big hole in Dolton to use the bathroom? It was going fast. Checking the washing. Are you gonna make a video about this? Maybe not. Maybe if TYT reacts to it or something. It's just like it's hard to make. I mean, it's funny just watching it, but it's hard to edit it in a way that's funny. Unless people are really exaggerated. TYT is easy to do that with because they're super exaggerated all the time. Yeah, give me the money. That's what Tiffany was saying. Yeah, the expenses breakdown is nuts. That money spent at Amazon is insane. The amount of debt is crazy. The overtime these people were taking. I mean, I can only see that she's gonna get wrecked real soon. This is all gonna wrap up real soon. And I can't see how she's not gonna end up going to jail over this. When will Tiffany run for president? Maybe she could try to be a running mate for someone and see if they'll pardon her so that she gets out instantly. Imagine Kamala Harris becomes president, she pardons her, and like that's one of the first things she does. That would be nuts. Are you endorsing Kamala? No, I'm not endorsing anyone. Like, I don't really endorse people. That would be crazy if she did, though. If she did win and then pardon. I mean, you can see Lori Lightfoot's coming in and doing this stuff. It's like, I don't think anybody would pardon this, right? Or no matter what Democrat you put in, whether they're Democrat or not, I don't think it makes any difference. I don't think anyone would pardon this. After looking at those numbers and what happened there, I can't see anyone having an excuse for this or finding a way out of this. Or the only people who have been having her back are the people that work for her, right? Lightfoot did a good job. Yeah. Like I said, it's her job. She has to, basically, right? Like there's not a way out of that. It's not like she can come up with an excuse to like write it off or anything. It's like, this is something that like all these numbers have been put together, not by her, by these people, these trustees. And they're the ones giving it to her. And she's like, oh yeah, after looking at these numbers, I have to say something. There's no way out of it. It's too many discrepancies. Biden will pardon her, guarantee. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, they needed that transparency. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing these trustees, I mean, if they were like able to get paid off too, if like Tiffany could have gotten to them and paid them off and they were all for it, that would have been, nobody wouldn't have all this information, you know, but these people are like, no, we're here for the point of holding the mayor accountable, right? And the budget. This is all just a hit job on the super mayor. Yeah, the only thing I can see is people coming out to like say that it's like a conspiracy against her or somebody's trying to frame her or something like that. That's the only thing possible. Is Sean typing in the chat from the Telia? He's dropping a deuce, typing into his phone. She had 2 of the 6 trustees in her pockets. I mean, if she could have bribed more, she could have swayed them then. But this is why it's good to have checks and balances, right? Those people they couldn't be swayed. What supervillain would she be? I don't know. The super mayor, I guess, is already a name they were giving her. Lori is jealous that she didn't think of this. She's like, I could have gotten away with it, but I'm not letting her get away with it. Well, like Sean said, the person before her, they were on a board catching her doing it, and then she becomes mayor and she does the same thing she caught the last mayor doing, right? So it's like, it's pretty crazy how that can happen. Sorry, Sean used up all the budget, so he has to stream from the toilet now.
No, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, Sean, focus on wiping and not texting. We'd all hate to see poopy fingers.
Oh my God, disavow.
So that's what your chat thinks of you going to the toilet.
I went to talk to my wife briefly. She's making dinner, like a trad wife.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I can't wait for the Q&A. Yeah, so she depleted the general fund.
Yikes.
she depleted that other fund that's supposed to earn interest, which is crazy. And the way that went, where it went from 2.3 million to $3,900, like why not just steal the last of it? Like why not? Like why leave it at $3,900?
A tiny little bit. I took the 2 million and left the 3,000 for you guys.
Yeah, she's like, I left you $3,900. Imagine wanting this job after her. Like even if you wanted to steal, like you can't. Jesus Christ. Now, a lot of people are saying that she voted for this or whatever. That the people voted for this. Yes, they voted for her once, but they tried to recall her, but a judge undid the recall. So like the voters are already done with Tiffany Henyard. She just beat the recall with a with a court order. Like they messed up something procedurally. But geez, this is horrid.
Yeah, I'm sure on the next vote she would not get any votes.
Like I know Illinois has the most politicians that have gone to jail for corruption, but this is like significantly worse. Official charge, loving on the people. I can't wait. I wish they did this before the Monday meeting that happened last week or earlier this week, because they have to do a meeting that Henyard shows up to the first Monday of every month. And I mean, they're supposed to do this meeting too. Tiffany's supposed to be here too. But wow, this is freaking horrid.
This town is the living embodiment of that Dave Chappelle joke where he's telling his son he's broke. We're broke.
Yeah. This is great. Like imagine, and there's so much more that's not in this report. You know, there's the what you call it. There's the woman, the former trustee that was complaining about Tiffany that had a drive-by shooting occur on her property. Like this is wild.
I remember that. Oh, these guys are coming up. They want to ask questions about this.
I mean, the Amazon thing is also crazy. If you remember, it was all on the same day. So somebody spent $33,000 in one transaction, and then they decided that they were going to spend on 2 other transactions. So they didn't get what they wanted on the first one. So yeah, this is pretty wild. Tiffany did a whatever you can put on the credit card before you're bankrupt. The township is yours challenge. Yeah, so this isn't even the township finances. Remember, she's the mayor of Dolton, which is a small town of 20,000 people, and the head of the Township Board of Supervisors.
Okay, we're getting ready to reconvene. I'll ask everybody to take their seats, please.
Oh, yeah, everybody
take their seats.
Copies.
All right, good to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
She's probably halfway to
Mexico. Yeah, she's out.
Right.
I hope. I wonder.
No, she's held up in her office with a pile
we'll
of
ask everybody to take their seats, please.
And lock and change the lock so nobody can get in.
Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, when I said she had 2 of the 6, if she would have just had 3 of the 6, they would have been totally screwed in the board.
Yeah.
There's only 6 people there, but one of them got arrested, or one of them is being investigated for sexual assault on one of those Vegas trips.
We're still in public.
The Vegas trip she paid for, right?
Okay, good evening. Good evening. I'll ask for everybody's cooperation, please.
Here we go.
Say,
look at her with the cell phone video. I streaming live.
Where's Nikita at? Let's say, if you guys hear me clap once, hear me clap twice. Hey, this thing works. Can we hear me clap 3 times?
You're knocking on the door in the background.
All right, thank you. I love the camaraderie and spirit.
Out for a smoke.
We want to reconvene our meeting so that way we can talk about next steps.
The Q&A
allow
period.
for feedback with the community, and then we can adjourn this meeting. I will say, I want to highlight one step that we've been able to accomplish in the recent weeks. Is our deputy clerk. In recent weeks, because of some of the diligence of the board, diligence of the clerk's office, with the assistance of our attorneys, we're pleased to announce Deputy Clerk Eris Montgomery is back in the village of Dolton, and I'll ask that she come forward. Where's Deputy Clerk Montgomery? Is she here?
Boy, she ain't back.
I did tell her she was coming. Okay, when she arrives, we'll ask her to step up front and take the rightful seat along with our board members. So we want to make that announcement. Number 2, President Cleo Jones had some announcements he wanted to make to the community of progress that is going on. So I'll ask that you join.
Cleo Jones, guy or girl?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out to the Dolton Park District. It was a very orderly meeting. I appreciate you guys. You didn't have to go through no metal detectors. Come here to the park.
I mean, you might want to do some metal
So
detectors.
let me tell you guys a little bit, little progress that's going on. First of all, I'd like to thank the Mayor Pro Temp. I'd like to thank the village trustees for all the hard, diligent work they have done. I also like to thank our attorney, Michelle Broughton-Fountain is here. We have our Board of Commissioners, Vice President Gail Towers, is she still here? We have Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Rochelle, and Commissioner Wells, if they both are still here. So the progress that has been made was we've been working very, very hard to improve our parks throughout the Dolton community. And we've been getting a whole lot of obstructions, getting that done by getting the proper permits put in place to get this done by the village of Dolton. So we finally
listen. I don't care about their park. I mean, the money though, it was outrageous. It's what we expected. It was worse than what we expected. They gave us the setup that some of those funds are not supposed to be moved to the general fund, and then we saw what happened to that $2.3 million account. It was almost all depleted. Like, that's crazy.
Once again, I think
you know, this guy's talking about the park and all that. Like, that's great. I hope they have a nice park, but they don't got no money. So I don't even know how they're paying for these parks. Like, this is wild. And we haven't even gotten into the pensions because the fire department is not getting health care. They're not getting contributions to their pensions. Like, it's pretty bad.
Without further ado, beginning August 1st, which is Monday, Blackstone Park is going under construction.
This guy said beginning August 1st. It's August 8th. Right
and
now.
with that construction, Blackstone Park is going to get a complete renovation. Things like including a walking path, a gazebo, a light-size game table,
you
shelter,
don't got gazebo money.
Additional parking, a fitness area, and a brand new playground that's coming there.
Yeah, we talked about this playground thing, by the way, how she was holding this up.
This is some of the things that, on behalf of our trustees, help us to get done. So we appreciate, on behalf of the Dolton Park District, we appreciate
This is correct. They have
the
grants for the park,
stood up
but they were being held up by the mayor
to ensure that this is
I
our
agree.
community.
They don't got no gazebo.
This is our town, and these are the things that we need to get done. You mean you got to understand something? It's not about one person. It's not about one person. It's about all of us. Why will we have to take our kids to Orland Park, Tinley Park to play in their playgrounds when we have our own playground? We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to build this partnership, and we're going to continue to work with our trustees. We thank them for all they have done, and we appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Good night, y'all.
If I found out we owe over $7 million, I would.
Thank you very much, President Jones. So just some comments as we talk about this, and it's we have become or maybe remained a town divided over these years. So I want to make sure that we're focusing on what happened only by way of knowing what not to do to repeat our past failures, what we need to do to
unburdened by our
safeguards in places and strengthen policies and procedures. In some cases, in many cases, we've had
unburdened,
and they're just not being followed. But through
persistence,
and I'm going to say persistence not only of this board, but many Dolton residents. So I want to ask that you give yourselves a round of applause, because without the many people that come in week after meeting after meeting, stating what's going on and saying, as a resident of this community, I'm not happy. And we've been termed in many ways as kind of a ish show and some other expletives that are not favorable. That's not what we want for our community.
Yeah,
I do have to say that in any town, when the numbers look that bad, there should be some noise. There should be some outrage. There should be some frustration. To that end, we want to start now working towards resolve. And that's what this meeting is about, is getting to the bottom of what's happening so we can start having our plans moving forward, and we can bring back order to Dolton in order to our finances. With that said, some of the things that we have implemented, we've already implemented credit card freezes. And I think the biggest component of us, and us being the board, us being the residents, us being this community, us being the media, exposing is that it's made anybody leery of taking more missteps in the future. It's gotten the administration and many people in it to give us the cooperation that we've deserved for many, many years. So while I'm frustrated at what it took for us to get here, I'm pleased that we can start to see the end of the road, and you can see things like the Park District getting their permits. We can see that we have a deputy clerk back. We can see business licenses coming back to this community. This board has remained diligent. This community has remained diligent, and we will continue this until we get back to where we deserve. There will be a hiring freeze. The board has already made the announcement that we are going into a hiring freeze that will be voted formally at our next board meeting.
Even Kate,
and as we see, it's necessary. I don't want to scare employees by saying that there are layoffs needed, but there are tough decisions that have to come when this budget, in this upcoming budget, that we are overdue on approving. So the next big step for us is we want everybody to watch out for the budget process because it will be coming very quickly. We will make sure it's done transparently and have open discussions, and we will have it with the department managers so that way we can identify what the cuts mean in terms of service.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty bad.
We will implement a travel policy, which is overdue and much needed. And sometimes you think that things are common sense, and you're like, why should we have to have a policy for it? But so you have to do what you have to do at many moments. And I think it's important that we note when we have $6.1 million of checks and vendors that are out there, we want all vendors to know that we will be contacting them. And we fully intend on taking care of that debt. And we will be working with them to make sure they are made whole because they do not deserve to be in this process as well. So with all those things being said, that kind of gives a snippet or overview. We could talk more through it at Tea with the Trustees this Saturday, 9:30, Dolton Park District. So having said that, I'll see if any colleagues on the board have any comments, and if not, we're going to open for public comments.
No, come on, let's go. Public comment.
Hearing none, we're going to open for public comments. We'll ask 3 minutes. After 3 minutes comes, I will do a wave, letting you know that you've hit the 3 minute mark, and we will ask that we conclude at that moment.
Damn, he got to use his phone timer. They really are out of money.
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone.
They had to sell the timer.
In view of tonight's report, I think one thing is apparent.
This guy's voice is
Since
boss.
Thornton Township has been used to launder money.
It's like an ex-football player or something.
And things of that nature. I think it's a long time that we start going to their meetings also, and that we start working together, trustees to trustees, citizen to citizen. We have to find a way to rid our village of that malevolent administration that we now live in.
Yeah.
So the only way I can do that, we have to fight them from every angle, because right now they go from one entity to the other, doing this, doing that, and even with the great work done by Mayor Lightfoot, they still haven't been able to track down everything that they're doing. So in order for us to thrive, we are the canaries in the coal mine right now. We need to make that apparent to everyone in this South suburban region.
Yeah.
It happened to us. She's using
People are calling
you
him
all,
fentanyl, Morgan
she's using that
Freeman.
energy
Guys,
to wash the money.
Jeez.
It's pretty obvious. And we got to find a way to stop that. And I do have a question. Do any of these things, if proven, does any of this stuff rise to the level of criminal?
Yes.
I don't know who might know that, but there's got to be something. If they can get a guy for selling $10,000 out of a bank or something, embezzling. This is embezzling on the grand scale. That's pretty much all I have to say right now.
That guy's a boss.
So I'll give a quick response. We feel that it does rise to the level of criminal. All information received in our report and further reports will be turned over to all authorities relevant to make a final determination.
I'm so
Ghetto
accustomed
fabulous.
to,
Yeah, that guy was a boss. Elect him
public
the mayor.
comments. So this is to every resident of the village of Dolton that is here and not here. This is to let you know, this is not fake news. This is real.
Oh, word.
And to all the residents that seem to think that this is not real,
It looks like
you
AI.
need to get a copy of this. To all the residents that think, oh, she's doing a great job and she's giving this party and we're going to get hot dogs and they're giving the kids Easter baskets and televisions and CD players and laptops.
CD players, what is it,
That's our money.
1990?
It ain't her money. It's our money. And free 99
want a
ain't
CD
always
player.
good.
Free 99.
So I employ every resident that seems to want to go to every event that she does. Stop going. Stop going. Don't support nothing that she's giving. What you need to do is support these individuals up here that's been working for us.
And maybe you'll get a CD
And to
player.
all the individuals, because it's election time, to all the individuals that want to throw their hat in the ring, or I'm going to run for trustee, or I'm going to run for village clerk. No, these are the individuals that have been working for us. So if you're going to do something, put your money, your support, your time, get out and knock on doors, make telephone calls for Clerk Key, for Jason House as mayor, for Brittany Norwood to retain her seat as trustee, for Kiana Belcher, who always have the receipts,
Damn.
to continue her job as our village trustee. That's what the Village of Dolton residents need to do. This is real. It ain't fake, and they ain't fake either.
Yeah. No more CD players than gazebos.
Yes, yeah.
Greetings, residents.
Someone says everyone gets a
Former
pager.
trustee Edward Steve, to the media, to the cameras, to the YouTubers. We've been known for these chaotic board meetings over the last few months. So they think that's all Dolton is. Look how smooth this meeting was today.
Smooth.
Look how calm, professional. That's not what Dolton is. This is what Dolton is. So when y'all see this news media and when y'all see how smooth this meeting went, know that this is Dolton. The other meetings is not Dolton. This is Dolton.
Now kick me a beat. I'm about to freestyle.
I want to say also, it's for years, they've been saying every meeting, they don't want to pay these people. Pay the people, pay the people. How come Stan Brown ain't here today? He been saying, pay the people, pay the people. And we've been saying, no, they don't have the money. So now it's vindication when you sit there and get berated over and over again, and people come to you and say, how come you don't pay the people? Why are you holding up the vendors? This shows you that she's been lying the whole damn time. The whole damn time. So I thank y'all. I thank you, trustees, and Clean House 2025.
Yeah, Agenda 2025. He missed an opportunity to say it's a vindication through education, but you know.
Good evening, everyone. I've got two questions and a comment. We love you guys. This is our future, but don't forget Ed Steve. My question number one is, how many people in this audience are not registered to vote?
Nobody.
How many people in this audience know someone who is not registered to vote?
Okay.
Well, it's obvious they're out here. We're all registered, and I guarantee you we don't all vote. We need to change that. We have people who have signed up and they're now deputy registers. If you know someone, reach out to the trustees, reach out to us. We will make sure that's done. But stop sitting at home. You go to the clubs, you go to church, you go to store, you go wherever you want to go in the winter. Go to the polls.
He just endorsed Agenda 2025. I just want to point that out.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the trustees.
I'm
and
hoping
everyone
for
here.
a Henyard supporter to show up.
I prepared a speech. I'm a little nervous.
Tiffany Henyard's being
I wanted to say
framed.
my piece today. So I want to start by expressing my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you. And as a resident of Dolton, I've been a resident of Dolton for the past 3 years. I live here with my husband and my 5 children.
My husband.
Maybe you know me, some of you don't. But I've been here for, like I said, for 3 years, and I'm also a new business owner here. So I felt truly welcomed by this community, and that's the thanks to the incredible support I received from all of you, and also from the trustees and clerk, you as well. So I can't express enough how much that your help has meant to me, especially when I was facing my own personal challenges. You were there when I needed someone to turn to, and that support made all of the difference to me. So I'm so thankful to each and every one of you for standing by me, particularly when others, including Mayor Tiffany Henyard, was not available to offer me assistance. So living and working in Dolton has been an eye-opening experience for me. While there's been so much potential and so many wonderful people in this town, I've also seen the challenges that we face. And I hope to have worked closely with Mayor Henyard, but someone from my own generation, to uplift and empower women like myself in our community. And it's heartbreaking to say that instead, I've been confronted with troubling rumors, well, not rumors anymore, facts, of corruption and dishonesty. It's disheartening to hear the truth and about the expenditures and scams associated with Tiffany Mayor Henyard's tenure here as mayor.
Tiffany Mayor.
And it's not the reality I wish to find in the town that I've come to care about. So I want to thank you and the trustees, all of you have supported me. I'm honored to be a part of this community, and I look forward to working together with all of you to make Dolton a better place for everyone.
Oh my God.
And I'm proud to say she's my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
That's what she was there for. Moral support, I guess,
You know,
from the neighbor.
she what you call it? Like, she spoke fine, but I have no idea who she is or what she was even talking about.
Good evening,
Yeah, she didn't
everyone.
really express too much of that.
But she spoke fine. Like,
Yeah. We just missed
Right
out
now,
on some
I am in
details.
limbo as far as my living situation. And I was kind of undecided as to whether I wanted to reside in Dolton. But now that all of this information has come out and I see how much
I got stuck.
trustees love the residents in this village, I think this is going to be my home.
Oh my God.
But
But you're
in
broke
Dolton,
and the
they
town's
broke.
broke.
Move
Yeah,
out.
no, this is a mistake. Bad decision making.
That horrible
That's all I
decision.
want to say, and I
You're
love you
making
guys.
decisions based on
You
emotion.
know, I love you guys.
Dalton also
And
has
that
like
is-
the highest property taxes in and around this area. That's a bad decision.
Good evening, residents. My name is Cassandra Jordan. I've
It's
been
like
a
Tiffany
resident
Henyard
here
with a mustache.
in
Hello,
Dolton for
everybody.
16 years. And when I look at the situation and everything that's going on, I can just honestly say I'm just so disgusted with what is going on in this village. And I want to encourage the voters, because I've come to the point that I don't just vote because you're just Black. We have to start doing our due diligence
Hell
and
yeah.
start researching the people that we actually cast our
Yeah,
votes
that's
for.
right.
Correct.
We can no longer just take handouts and because
for
you're
you,
my
lady.
favorite, because I like you. We have to literally
Yeah.
start doing our research. And for those of you that voted for Tiffany, I'm just going to honestly say it. You might not like me. You just didn't do your research.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
you
didn't
can
vote
honestly
for her.
look at this
She's
chick
like, I
and
didn't vote
see
for
that
this
there was an issue and that there was a problem.
Mhm.
I mean, when you do your research,
I don't mean
you
to
see-
say I told you
this
so.
person with a criminal background, who in their right mind would have put her in position?
Yeah.
So I say to you all, do your due diligence and just
Look at
stop
the
voting
chat.
for people
Yes,
because they're
yes.
Black. We have to do our research. And if a lot of you all had done your research, a lot of this stuff would have been avoided. That's all I'm going to have to say.
Damn.
Yeah, nailed it. Good for her. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
chat's
was good.
even liking it. He's like, yeah,
And
yeah.
she calls them
Yes.
out too. She had a criminal record. What were you
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah,
she
like,
got
okay,
arrested
you guys
while she
voted
was a
for her.
member of the board of trustees for Dalton.
Good
Like,
evening.
learn your lessons here.
My name is Cynthia Brewer, and you know, I moved here in September 2019.
Big mistake.
And I thought, no, it was a nice village at the time I moved here.
So this
It's
ratchet
really
bitch took her.
ironic with all the stuff that's happening, and I just bought my house. It was like I couldn't just sell it and move somewhere else. So I am so very glad that we are getting to the point where we're getting this taken care of, because it would be a shame for me, somebody who just moved into the village, to have to move out because of things that are happening. And what I'm also asking for is transparency. When I first moved here, I can go on the website, I can see what all the trustees were doing, And it was easy. Now it's like, it's hard because I have to follow your website and some other places. And sometimes some of the activities that you put on, we don't even know about because they're not placed anywhere for us to see. So I'm looking forward to having the website be more transparent, having the trustees' information. And also, when we do public comment, we don't get, we used to be able to get some feedback. So those things, please bring them back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, they just get yelled at by Tiffany and her goon police chief.
So, want to thank everybody. We're going to be adjourning. So I think
that's
Trustee
it?
Belcher have a motion to adjourn. I hear the motion. A second. Clerk Key, please roll call.
That's it.
Trustee Norwood. Trustee Tammy Brown. Trustee House.
All right, we don't need to.
Trustee Belcher.
Unless they say something at the end.
Meeting adjourned at 8:13 p.m.
Want to thank everybody. Hope to see you soon. It's great to see you.
There are two phones where were they left? There are two phones that were left in the bathroom.
Oh, in the bathroom.
Hers
Who
was
went to the
her
bathroom?
phone.
One of them's Tiffany Henyard's phone.
Look,
Wait, this one says Tiffany.
that's
Could
not
this be?
that's not hers.
Oh,
Two
that's
phones
not
left in the bathroom.
Who took a crap in the bathroom?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hey.
I want to see what happened with this phone situation.
Yeah.
Please check to see if you have your phones. Please
Tiffany's
check to
giving
see
out
if you
free
have your
phones at the
phone.
doorway.
You got your
Way
phone?
out.
You got your phone?
Let's check, everybody. You gotta check.
Somebody's like, that phone is mine.
Everybody comes up. That's my phone.
Hey.
That's my phone.
People are saying I left the phone because I went to the bathroom.
Thank you. Okay, what's the street?
All right. I'm gonna get out of this.
Oh man. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. All right. So that was some fun stuff. I'm not gonna lie. The report was pretty devastating.
Oh yeah.
We'll never know if that person ends up getting their phone or not. But Jesus, the money, and this is preliminary. I can't wait for the more detailed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of money that she blew that does not have a good explanation is pretty horrible.
That town is screwed.
Yeah.
That lady saying she was going to stay living there. I'm like,
Yeah, I was
no.
like, get out, get
That's a
out right now.
mistake.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, I would move immediately. She's like, I can't just sell my home. I feel terrible for her because she bought her home with low interest rates. And then by the time Tiffany came in, they started spiking. So she's not going to get a good price for that home, but she got to go. Like, she got to run. So, I have this last super chat. It says, has anyone had any balls? They'd make a movie based off Henyard called Get Up.
Yeah.
That was pretty
The
funny.
Superman.
If I didn't thank Fondue for being a member, thank you. But yeah, it was a fun stream. I appreciate you joining me, Alfie.
Yeah, no problem.
And somebody's like, wait, did the people get their phones? Do you guys really want me to pull that up to get the resolution of this whole phone thing? Quit messing around. Quit messing around. You know you don't care about their phones. It was my phone, all right? Plus the stream's over. It's like officially over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Somebody's like, seems like the town is, I didn't even mean to click this. Seems like the town is always doomed.
Yeah.
Listen, they had a surplus before this. They had a surplus before this with the mayor that they were having transparency problems because at least that person knew not to kill the golden goose.
They had a $2 million cash fund.
Yeah. Tiffany just blitzing and stealing everything. It's wild. The Amazon thing, amazing. The police department. Listen, I've never been a defund the police guy, but the Dolton Police Department, they gotta go.
They got overfunded.
Yeah, crime is up over there, but that's the thing is, if you look at her patrol, they have 4 cars in her police protection patrol, right? That total, by the way, $750,000 in terms of the leases on those cars. Then they got to have officers in those cars. And then the Dolton police don't have, they don't have that many cops on the beat. So they have like 8 to 10 officers on the patrol out of 40 officers? Like a quarter of the department is protecting her in a part-time position. It's crazy. I guess why. Also, I would look into whether or not she's banging Terry Young. I thought Keith Freeman was her boyfriend, but Terry Young making more than the police chief, like that's wild. Like, and again, I need to emphasize this report is the village of Dolton, only the village of Dolton. She is the head of the board of supervisors for the Thornton Township, and I believe there's 180,000 people under the township. This is what she's stealing from 20,000 people as the mayor. And in the Thornton Township, she's not against the board of trustees over there. Here, she's against 4 of the 6, which means they have a majority that they could do anything. In Thornton Township, there's one trustee that's against her. It's the Latino guy. And like they put his name on they do all these dirty tricks against him. So there's way more money going missing in the village of in the Thornton Township, and the FBI is investigating both. And not to mention, they're using the funds for both agencies to compensate for the gaps in the others. So this is going to be a fraud on a scale for local government that we haven't seen in ages.
But in Tiffany's defense, like, does your town give you free hot dogs and CD players?
Yeah, word. The CD, like, why are y'all going out for CD players? True, too big to fail. Now, look, I know because I covered the Park District video that they got a grant to revitalize the park, and Tiffany was just holding it up. But it is still funny that they're like, yo, we got a gazebo in the park. The last thing I would be thinking about, it's a gazebo.
All right, that way your hot dogs, the free hot dogs don't get wet when it's raining.
Yeah, yeah, in the gazebo. People are asking about the phone. Look, the stream ended. I can't tell you what happened to the phone. That is
it got left in the bathroom, okay?
Somebody says, ask me about my white privilege. Yeah, but any final thoughts, Alf, from New Jersey, a place known for corruption in local government?
Yeah. No, well, my town does give us free hot dogs all the time. They have like fairs and stuff with that kind of stuff. But I guess that's probably part and parcel for that. That's about it.
Do they give you gazebos and free CD players?
No. I think it's hot dogs and popcorn, I think, as far as it goes.
Yeah, everybody check out Alf's channel. It's Alf Benny. He does those great TYT mashups. He's also a good friend of mine. In real life, we hang out sometimes, and we go get free hot dogs from, I guess, his city. Like, that's a new thing that we got to do. But yeah, I'm also hungry too, people in the chat. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Al, for joining us. Subscribe to his channel, like all his stuff, give him the money. Yo, by the way, they need to start reading super chats in the Village of Dolton thing because they need the money. Like, they need it.
They should. Yeah, that would help them out for sure.
Jesus, this was wild. But yeah, I'll probably make a video breaking this down in the coming days.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right, bye.
All right, later.